I always have this argument with my son. He says like, "Oh, you need to make mistakes to learn and learn from your mistakes." I said, "Yes, that's what smart men do. They learn from their mistakes. But the wise men, they try to learn from other people's mistakes too."
Can you do me a favor? Can you look in the camera and say like, comment, and subscribe?
Like, comment.
Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. So to my grandson's channel. Say like, comment, and subscribe to my grandson's channel.
Like, comment, and subscribe to my grandson's channel.
You heard it. Okay, welcome back to If I Knew Then. Today we have my friend Vrej Pliposian. He is the managing director at Granite. We've worked together now for a while. I'm really glad you could do this today. Thank you for coming on. Before we get started, can I turn it over to you to introduce yourself a bit?
Sure. Thank you, Anthony, for having me. It's a pleasure. So, Vrej Pliposian, I'm managing director at Granite. I have been in this role for about 8 years, but I have originally, I'm Syrian, so I grew up in Syria. Then I moved to Dubai. I worked there for about 7 years. Then I moved to New York, and now I'm based in New Jersey, working and managing the Granite's relationship management team, where we help our clients with their international employee benefits captive program.
Very nice. Thank you. Can you walk us a little bit through your career journey? You said you started in insurance. What did that look like?
I finished my degree in economics, and then I moved from Syria to Dubai. I started straight to the insurance industry. My first interview, I accepted the job, and I started as a regional coordinator for Middle East Asia region for a multinational company. I started in the regional office and managing the employee benefits again, life, disability, and medical insurance, health insurance in Dubai market for the Gulf region. And then I was working with our multinational desk, and then an opportunity presented itself for me to move to New York to get an international role. So I have worked in a local office, regional office, and then a global role, which gave me the perspective and helped for the growth of my career. I had an opportunity to join Granite and started in 2017 and started managing the relationship management team there. It's always been on the life, disability, and the medical side of the business. Insurance, lot of the times people think insurance is boring, but we have our good days as well.
So I'm curious. I don't think I knew about your background, but I didn't know what you went to school for. So you went to school for economics. Did you ever, were you always on the client facing side, or did you ever do any of the underwriting piece too?
When I was in a local office, I was always on the insurer side for about 10 years. And then when I moved to the consulting, I was on the client-facing side. But what I have realized in your career, what you need to, without going and talking to the clients when you are in the back office, things are different. So you don't understand what the client are looking for. So I was always curious, and I was working with the sales guys to go to the client meetings and be facing there to understand better and to improve the products that the companies were offering. But yes, I started at the back office and then moved to the client-facing side of things.
So I know you said that helps you do your role better currently, but did you prefer one or the other, or do you prefer one or the other?
I think like I would prefer the client-facing side.
Yeah, you do. Okay.
Yes, I do, because you need to understand what the companies are looking for and how you are serving your customers. A lot of the times, especially in insurance, right? It becomes, when you are in the back office, it becomes very financial. When you are in the talking to the clients or to the multinational employers and understanding, you get to know the stories of their employees, of their struggles that they are going through, and you start forming the benefits accordingly. So unfortunately, in the insurance industry, like any business, you need to balance between profitability and the service, right? So when you are at the back office, you don't really get the first-hand experience about the stories. Someone's claim has been declined and why, right? So facing and being with the client and hearing those stories helps you to go back and work with your colleagues and peers how to improve the product. So it is not only financial, but you take into consideration the human aspects of it, especially
Yeah,
in insurance.
sure. I love that perspective. You're basically looking to make sure that the insurance or the product lands as intended versus, there's always this perception of insurances are always looking to decline claims. But you said there is a balance there. Being able to be in the middle and talk both languages. So, I mean, I've seen myself, it's been helpful.
Yeah, especially in the financial industry, right? So we always, the large multinationals with the pressure from management or shareholders, you need to talk about your bottom lines. Facing and going and talking to the consultants, to the employers, you understand why they are purchasing this cover, and that gives you good perspective to go back and sit with your product team, your management, how to improve this product to address their needs. So you don't want, someone declining a claim because you are afraid of your bottom line, but they don't care essential care that they need.
So you mentioned that you've always been on the EB side. Was that intentional or did it just fall that? Like, were you ever interested in the property and casualty or other lines of insurance?
So not really. So I think I started, it was pure coincidence. This is the first opportunity that I got, but I was pretty lucky there. I really liked and I'm passionate about like what I do day to day. Uh, Especially when you see that the product that you are delivering or the work that you are delivering is touching the lives of the people that you are intended to service. So when I started my career, I wasn't questioning much, but later on, so whenever we are working on a product and we are listing the exclusions, insurance industry are well known with their tiny fonts at the end of the
Hmm.
policy document with their exclusions. I start questioning it, saying like, why do we have these exclusions? So why in this age, in this year, like still 21st century, we're like, excluding coverages or etc. So I start questioning it and I start addressing it as I'm the consumer. So how I would like the product to be. And that like added some meaning to the work that I do day to day.
I really like that. I feel like I'm in a similar boat. I've become very passionate about it too, as you know. So
So
that's cool to hear.
and like similar to you, like especially the healthcare where you're touching everyone's life, like, including children, I think it's very important. And unfortunately, we see this not in many countries during working on the international benefits, that there's a lot of room for improvement and getting ahead of that and think and working with people like you, how to address those needs, how to advocate for the employers. It's very unique and I feel very fortunate to work with people like you. In US, we are very fortunate. In the private healthcare, we have the coverages that we need and we have access to the treatments, though the cost is something else. We'll
Yeah.
leave for other people to decide on that, how to address it. Internationally, there's a lot of gaps in a lot of the programs, and on day-to-day basis, we have a lot of room to improve. So that keeps us busy in finding the solutions for the right people there.
I love that. I completely agree with you. Okay, so you touched a little bit about how you got into the insurance space, the things that you're passionate about in the insurance space. What made you want to make the jump from being on the insurer side to moving to consulting?
So, like I told you, I started in Dubai. So I was in the local office. So I have, like, I was always advocating for change to improving the product. And what I have seen over the years, I have learned, okay, the command and control is coming from the regional team, and then I saw from the global team. So really, I made my way to New York. I was fortunate. During your career, one of the things is important that a lot of people, they work hard, they have good ideas, they have smart ideas. But one thing that I feel everyone should work on their communication skills and to how to articulate their ideas in a simple manner so they get the attention. So I was really working when I was in the local office. I was really offering, like, how can I advocate about my ideas, right? So how can I articulate this to the people in the regional office or to the people sitting in the US, giving those decisions and how we will deploy these ideas. So I started working on that. And when I made my way to the international office, I said, okay, this is coming. This is like, we will work based on the client's needs. So let me go on the other side of the business and start working with the clients, bring some innovation. As you know, Anthony, our industry, insurance industry, we are not most technologically advanced or like changes, right? So really, like, I didn't like to do the same thing again. So some of the times, like, you will talk to people, they have worked 20 years in the same job. So I feel like, you repeated your 5-year experience 4 times. So I really wanted something different. I wanted to do something meaningful for me. So that's how I work with Brian Quinn, who's the founder of Granite. So I used to argue a lot. He used to push us a lot. So I said, okay, let me go on the other side of the business and understand what he's talking about and see what we can do together. And it has been a very successful journey for us. So
That's
that's
great.
how we got there.
That's great. Now, so when you joined Granite, it was much smaller too. So what made you want to jump from? So was Brian one of the factors, like the
Yes.
partnering
Yes,
with it?
brand
Yeah.
was one of the factors. Like, I always like to do like my own thing, my own business, my own ideas. And I found with Brian that you can really do that. And he gave me he's a good listener and good leader as well. So you learn a lot from him. So I think him bringing the risk management perspective and me bringing employee benefits and closeness to HR as well. That really worked out really well, which in our business is very important. So we balance very well what type of benefits we should offer and how to manage the budget, which is the key question in our business. And the second thing, when I was in a big multinational company, I was enjoying my work, I was learning a lot. To make changes was constant struggle. You need to advocate for it. And it was happening. The company was in the right direction, and they do till today. But it was different, right? So it was a profitability first. And here is how can we advise best to our clients so they achieve their benefits goal through the financial instruments that we have. So it's a very different world where I thought it's more meaningful for me, and this is what I like to do more than battling to preserve the bottom line.
I agree with you about there's two things there, both levels. I think who you work for and who you work with are sometimes more important than where you work. Um, and I made conscious decisions around that too. Part of the reason I am where I am now. And I hear you on there are pros and cons to large organizations and to small organizations. But the one of the things that I was asking too there is Granite was much smaller organization then, and so the risk of going from a larger multinational insurer to a smaller consulting firm, I'm sure, did that go through your mind at all?
It did actually. At the same time that I was joining Granite, I was talking to others as well.
Okay.
Big consulting houses, and I actually had multiple offers. I was fortunate, and uh, it has pros and cons, but it comes back to the comment that I made when I was having those conversations with the big consultants or other insurers as well. One of the things that I realized, okay, I will be doing the same thing that I have done in a large multinational employer over again. So I was going to repeat my experience again. And I thought it will be a much better for me personally, what I was looking for in a small organization. So that was a very big incentive for me because I was growing there. I had like a lot of opportunities. So I thought there's no difference for me to move from one company to another. I had a very good relationship and etc. So that was my one of my consideration. It was different. It was more challenging. The risk was there, but was minimal because Granite always worked with multinational companies, and we were selective. So one of the things that we have done as well, which is part of the growth, before we used to look to hire people in our locations, but I think now with all the technological advancement, doesn't matter where the people are. So we are hiring the talent where they are, and we are hiring people that fit in our organization. So a lot of the times, and this is like I have seen in my career is from my colleagues, they said, oh, like, my management is not, listening to me, or they're not happy about the environment. And my take on that, like, if you don't like the environment that you are in, you should not be too late to walk away. There's always, and you don't need to leave the company, like network with your peers. You might be going to another department and excel there. So you need to know if you want to grow and if you want to be happy in what you do, you need to know when to walk away as well. So, and I think that worked really well for me.
That's good. So I completely agree with everything you're saying. One of the quotes that I've always liked in that space is, you want to leave the party while you're still having fun. Because if you get to a position where you're desperate, that comes through. You don't need to be, or you don't want to be the last person to leave the party either. So
Yeah.
it's something that you have more control over your environment and your situation than most people give themselves credit for. And I completely agree with you, is that you need to take that into account, and you need to be proactive in that space as well.
Yeah. And one thing that I realized, like people, when we go to an interview and accept a job, right? So we always negotiate, right? So we say, hey, this works for me. But once you are in, you forget to have those conversations. You just wait for your annual review. So I always encourage like our team, if you have something, if you are expecting something, have the conversation. Like don't wait for the last minute. And I think a lot of us in the day to day, we forget to have those conversations, and then our expectations are not met, and then we get frustrated. So I think it's very important to keep the communication channel with your management or with your direct reports to understand like what's the expectation, what are trying to achieve. So some of the times, like, you could be very busy in your work, but you need to check if the work that you are doing is valuable to the organization. How does it fit with the others? And I think those communication channels should be kept open to keep the fun in the party.
Yeah, no, I think it's great advice too. It stops if you're not proactively, or if you're not conscious about making that a priority. It's very easy to develop resentment, and you don't have the conversation. You think that you're not being appreciated, or it's much, much better. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. It's much better to just have the conversation up front and to be open about your expectations. And then you have the opportunity for your manager to be open. You can either agree, or you'll at least know where you stand in most cases. And it gives you the information you need to potentially make a decision to either go elsewhere, or, like you said, consider other opportunities or other options as well. I totally agree with you.
And every now and then, like in your career, it's not wrong to go check it's out there, right? So sometimes we overestimate or underestimate ourselves. Sometimes we are not happy. We think, "Oh, we need to be doing more. I need to have more responsibility, or I need to have more financial compensation." But you need to go check in the market. Is it fair? Where you stand on the market? And you need to do your homework and have those conversations so you don't have that frustration in you. So I think that I have done that well, not in the first few years of my career. I was always like frustrated. Oh, they don't understand me. They don't see. And then actually one of my mentors, she asked me, do you know what's the elevator pitch means? I said, no. And she explained it to me, and I applied that now in all my communications. So if I have a presentation, if I'm writing an email, so I feel it's on me for my message to be understood correctly. So I need to articulate my ideas in a very clear, concise manner, in a layman language that the others will understand. So you can't expect to be everyone expert in your area. My advice is put it in a simple, clean language, concise, don't do pages. People are busy, they won't be able to read, and articulate that to your manager, to your peer, and have the conversation about it.
I love that. I think that's fantastic advice. It's a good segue, actually, to the namesake of this, If I Knew Then. Is there one piece of advice that you would either give someone earlier in their career or you wish you had earlier in your career?
I think there are a few,
Yeah,
but
please.
if I would pick one, right? So I'm sure I have watched some of your podcasts as well. Everyone worked about different things, about learning, about working hard, and etc. All those are valid. If you don't work hard, you don't expect to, grow. But one another thing that I wish I knew from start my career is the networking, right? So my advice would be invest time for networking once a week. Take someone to lunch, to coffee, and diverse that. Go with your peers, go with your colleagues in your other departments, have a 20 minutes personal conversation, and then 10 minutes, you know, about work, understand what they do, how they do it, what they achieve, but also try to connect with people that you would like to be in their role in 3 to 5 years, right? So build that connection. A lot of the times, there will be peers working together, two underwriters, they're brilliant. One gets the promotion, not the other. And then they say, oh, because he had a good relationship with the managers. Okay, why not you have that good relationship, right? So I think spending time on networking and building relationship is as important to your working hard. And that relationship, as you grow, and you become in a more leadership role, people, they will still look about the delivery of your products, how you manage your team, but they will also see how you are doing with your peers, how you are connecting with them, how you are communicating with them. So that relationship building becomes more and more crucial as you grow in your career. And that's something I wish I knew when I started. I think I did well, but I would have spent more time on networking too.
I think that's great advice. I've tried to be more conscious of that as well. I was not always very good with it. I joke all the time to say I'm an introverted extrovert because people think that
Right.
they're like, oh, you must network all the time. It must be super easy for you. But it's a skill, I think, that you have to grow and get better at. But I agree with you. I've tried to prioritize that more as I've gotten later in my career.
I used to blame everyone but myself. I said, oh, there's no conferences that I can go and connect with my peers, right? But I never took, in my early years in my career, I never took the email of competing insurer and invited their underwriter for a coffee, right? But I do that now. I connect with my peers, with my competitors, with others. I try to learn from them. So you can learn from everyone. I have learned from a lot of people that, good and bad things. So some of the people you say, okay, I know I shouldn't be like that. So, but yeah, it's very important to learn from the others. I always have this argument with my son. He says like, oh, you need to make mistakes to learn and learn from your mistakes. I said, yes, that's what smart men do. They learn from their mistakes. But the wise man, they try to learn from other people's mistakes too. So if you see someone next to you, they have done a mistake and they have learned from it, why not talking to them and understanding about their failures, not only about their achievements, but what they have failed at, not to repeat that. So I think that's one of the things that, I would have concentrated networking and listening to the other people and learning more from them.
I love that. I think that that's fantastic advice. Really, that's really great insight too. You said you had a few. Is there any other ones that you wanted
I
to share?
think the communication, articulating the ideas well, I think we have spoken about it. Those are the key things that I felt. And early in my careers, I used to blame everyone else. I'm writing my email, but they don't understand, so they don't know the business. And then I moved from that mentality. I said, no, I am not articulating well. So if I'm talking to the senior person, I need to right in their levels. If I'm talking to the junior person, I need to to that level. So now I use, if I don't know anyone, I'm connecting with them new, I go with a very basic language. So that's communication and networking. I would have spent a lot more time in developing those skills, not only the technical skills as well. It's very important to work on those and
I
in
think
your
that's great.
careers.
I think another thing that you've another consistent theme that you've said across all of those items is self-reflection. Is like it's very easy to get into that. It can't be my fault. It must be the other person's. But I think the idea of being self-aware and understanding the potential that you have to impact a situation versus always thinking that it's the other person and being empathetic to the other person's situation. I think when you're aware of that, it makes the relationship building that you're talking about, it makes problem solving so much easier, especially when you're partnering with other teams. And it's something that I think goes across all of the pillars that you just mentioned too.
You need to promote yourself as well and your work, right? If you're doing hard work, you are innovating, but you are not promoting that work and your manager is not listening to you, you need to find a way to get that message across to everyone else. You can use your peers, have those conversations. You don't need to upset anyone. So with the right communications, you can achieve that. So a lot of the times, if you have an idea and you articulate it well and communicate it well, you will get the attraction for it. And then that's what you need to work on. And you need to be visible, right? So you are working hard, but you need to promote your work. Your managers and the others, they need to know what you are delivering. So that's key. And early in my career, when you are especially the salespeople are good at it, right? So they always promote. But when you are in the back office, you lack those skills, and working on those skills is very important.
Love it. Thank you very much.
Too.
Before I let you go, is there anything else you want to share or plug?
No, I think it's pleasures to have this conversation with you. I'm listening to your podcast, and I like the summary of the year video.
Thank
So
you. Thank you
that's
very much.
keep it up, and hope to have this opportunity again in the future.
Thank you very much, Vrej. I appreciate it. I think this was a great episode. So hopefully we'll
Thank
have you
you.
on as a recurring guest.
Perfect.
All
Looking
right.
forward to
Thank
it.
you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.